Welcome to blaxRADIO by blaxTARLINES, where we discuss art, curating, and everything in between. This is the Art Talk segment, bringing you authentic conversations from within the art world. In today's episode, we bring you the conversation between Dr. Kwasi Ohene-Ayeh, IUB, and Professor Ablade Glover. Let's get into it.
When you get there, they call it a PA, That's what it. Anyway, I applied and I got the job. Mr. Duntum, then the head director, I got the job. But that was the time Ghana was getting very hot. The temperature was pretty too bad, too hot for me. The political temperature was so high that anybody with anything, you either be in politics or out. So I wanted to go to, return to the UK to do something with my life. And that was when I planned an exhibition. I wanted somebody with substance to open the exhibition. All I needed was money. The exhibition was targeted at money. And I got, the boys advised me that the person to pick to open the exhibition would be Mrs. Du Bois, Shelley Du Bois. So I went she was in our broadcasting. I went to the place and asked her. She thought, hey, this boy is too much. Anyway, she agreed. She said, okay, I'll open the exhibition. She said, but why do you want to travel? Why don't you stay? There are jobs about. I can put you in broadcasting. But I thought, no. Ghana was too hot for me. It's not, Ghana was too hot. So from, after the exhibition, I got enough money to pay my passage back. And some money to pay my maybe first year fees or whatever. I wanted to go to study. But I was at the family house when Mrs. Du Bois sent the driver to come and pick me. That's about 2 weeks later after the exhibition. And I went and she said, Osajifo wanted to see you. And I was, in those days, I always said this, in those days, if they say Osajifo is standing here calling for you, you go this way. You don't go towards him. Because the stories around town isn't too good. They were not true, of course, but there were stories about Osajifo and so. So I met Osajifo. Mrs. Du Bois took me to Osajifo. And she just simply introduced me. This is a young man I told you about. And he said, oh, how are you? And I, fine, the niceties, And then he said, oh, it has all been worked out. So you pick a letter from somebody sitting there behind the desk. I think it was Mr. Okon then, the secretary to the cabinet. And when I picked the letter, I realized it's ordering. I took it to the scholarship secretariat. And they said, well, have you got a passport? I said, yes. When are you willing to go to travel? So any day from now, any day, I'm more ready. I have my passport, everything. So within a week, I was flying back to the UK. So that's when I went to. I want to divert a bit. I went to the University of Newcastle to study art education. I want to get into art education, and it's only a 1-year program. So after that, I came back to London. After Newcastle, I came to London. I stayed in London a bit. And I returned to Ghana 1965. 65, I think. That's when I got to enter tech as assistant lecturer. It's all interesting. I taught for some years, and then In those years, I mentioned already that the scholarships were about, if you are willing to pick one. The scholarships were all over the place. The African American Institute were giving scholarships for people who are in business or in something to travel. So the university gave me one of those scholarships, and I went to Kent State to do a master's degree in art education. I need to mention here that whilst I was at the Central in London, you have to do, as a student, you have to do your major and pass well in your major. But you must do a minor that you must also pass in. You must pass in your minor. So, whilst I was doing my textiles, I was also majoring myself. I loved painting, and I was doing my painting. So, that's how it went, and that's how I got gradually into painting. So when I returned to Tech to teach, even though I hold a certificate in textile, fabric designing and printing, and I was teaching fabric designing and printing, I was painting full time. And I'm glad I did, because I got the financial foundation. People who came to the university, they wanted to meet an artist, people came to the university. Normally, and those days, there weren't a lot of places you could go to meet artists. So people who came to the university wanted to meet the artists. And usually, they sent them to my bungalow. Sometimes they brought them to the classroom and I took them home to see what I was doing. And they bought a painting or two. So I managed to put some money on the side, I was financially, I had some foundation. And of course, when I went to the States and came back, I was painting again. And one thing I must tell you, it's not right to say it, but let me tell you this. That sometimes what is wrong really in our system is that immediately you get a doctorate degree, you move from the ordinary people to some special people. And it's sad. I think it's particularly sad. Because in my own practice, I've seen some real good art, particularly what I'm doing now. I've seen some real young artists who are doing great work. But because they don't have doctorate degree attached to their names, people don't buy them much. When they come with names and people who have made names. But particularly when you have a doctorate degree, it's like half the journey done. So maybe that helped. I don't think that is good, but that's what's happening. And possibly still happening. So then I worked, after the American studies in the U.S., Kent State and Ohio State. I did the Ph.D. in Ohio State, in Columbus. I returned to my work at Tech. And from then on, it's all work, teaching. So the good thing about teaching and lecture, particularly when you're a lecturer at the university, the good thing about it is that you have a lot of time on your hands. Something like 2 hours a day, or maybe an hour a day, 2 hours a day. A whole week, you have something like 8 hours a whole week. And that really helped to develop my art. Because either I was in the studio working, I had a big, nice bungalow with space, and because of that, I was working. Unfortunately, I got a bad name at the university. They called me exhibitionist. I often wanted to gather my colleagues so that we have an exhibition. We formed a group called the Ghanaian Contemporaries. And
who were some of the members, please?
Pardon?
Who were some of the members of this?
EKJ Tete, Owusu Date. This man was born. I told you that we're all members. Actually, they're all university people, the Ghanaian Contemporaries. And I was pushing them all the time for exhibition, So finally, I became like the exhibitionist. But by the time I left, that is how it developed. And when we thought, when we got to the time I was told I was coming to retirement, I knew, I was coming to do something about art. There was no reason coming to die, sit there and wait for death. So we came. My wife has been very supportive, had been very helpful. She left her job. She did biological science. She did microbiology. She left her job completely and supported me. So our first gallery was built when I was still teaching and she was supervising. And I found it amazing that somebody can throw her life away and just for you. And so that's how we built the first gallery. And then we found it was hopeless because of traffic to Tema, Nkrumah and Tema. So
where was the first gallery located, please?
The first gallery?
Yes.
Was at Teshinungwa.
Okay.
Teshinungwa. We had tried one at Watson Services before. When I was teaching, we did the Glow Art Gallery at Watson Services. But then I was traveling, and I left it with a young boy, a young character, who saw the money. And by the time I returned, I was up to here in debt. And unfortunately, most of the people who bought things that were not shipped to them, the idea is people bought things, and the things were supposed to be shipped to them, and the things were not shipped. And therefore, you can imagine, it was extremely shameful. But the American embassy then were my great friends. They called me and they advised me to make sure these things are sent to. So I returned to debt. But we managed to solve all that kind of problem. And I continued my work until at the end of my service, we built this Teshinungwa gallery. And it was working. The gallery itself was okay, but the traffic to get there was terrible. And since I come from Labadi, we are not bad, I asked the people there, the elders, I asked them there about property line there. You know where they go to their places to do their thing. So they agreed to give me take from here to there as much as you can. So that's what we did. We took a lot of land and we built what we have built now. It was tough. When you enter into something, particularly when something you don't know, you're not in it already. If it were in teaching or education or something, maybe I would know. But going to gallery or art promotion, things like that, I had no idea. And building, particularly in Accra. When we got the land, we registered the land, we've done everything, ready to go, we were told that you can't build there until you do a sea defense. Now, that was terrible, because the sea defense alone took more than half of the money we were holding at the time. So by the time we started, we chopped taken half the money is gone. So we pushed on, and we were told of a company, a Ghana Investment Promotion Council. The Americans or some people have brought some big money, and they give it to people who wanted to do something, and then you have to go through a bank to get that kind of money. So we went through it, and we got the money. But we hadn't finished the gallery. And when they wanted their money, it's like a noose around your neck. Really, I felt I was hanging. I now understand why some people commit suicide. But we got that money, and that money helped. And the good thing is that there are good people about. Whilst we were building that thing, and that money was finished, there was no way we could go on. We didn't know what to do. There was a young lady who was in charge of Ford Foundation in Nigeria, Adiambo, Ugada or Daga or something, Adiambo. She visited Ghana and she saw what we were doing. She called me. I went to meet Odiambo, and she interviewed me, and I told her what we're doing. She said, okay, we'll see how we can help. So she gave me some forms to fill, and I did. And when she went, she sent us $30,000. And that was something. I mean, it was so small but it was big. It was like, wow, you know. So we got that money from Adiambo, that's Ford Foundation. And it kept on. We continued until others came to us. So we had to sell our first gallery, which is now a bank at Nkrumah. Now we are coasting, you know. I tell you, there's not a lot of money in it, running the gallery. But except that now I can sell my work. Other artists come to sell their work. On the 5th of every month, they come to collect their money, like I collect my money. And it's now sure that at the end of the month, maybe I'll sell a painting or two. And that's good enough for me. The gallery itself, I tell you, it's tough. But it's costing, yes. We're doing fine.
Yeah.
That's
a brief history of
the Artists Alliance.
Of what we're doing. But thank you so much, sir. This has been. I would like to specifically ask about a few things which you have hinted. Yes. Could you tell us about your experience chairing the KNUST committee for the Festac Black Arts Festival?
The KNUST
committee for the Festac in 1977.
Oh, 1977 Festac?
Yes.
I wasn't the chairman.
In Nigeria?
No, I wasn't the chairman. Kwame Napo.
Okay.
You know Kwame Napo. Kwame Napo was the chairman. But yes, I participated.
Okay.
We went to Nigeria to represent Ghana. In fact, we went to represent Ghana, particularly the KNUST. UST there. We didn't contribute much, I tell you. We had a lot of fun. There was a lot of drinking, a lot of... in those days, I must tell you, we were drinking a lot. I hadn't told you that bit of it.
Okay.
Well, I was young, not married, not quite married. And there was a lot of time and a lot of money. I mean, let's face fact. A lot of money. My illness, I fell into from 1979 to maybe date. I became particularly ill. In fact, I've had 13 operations. You wouldn't believe this. But it started because of the drinking. Drinking. And they made me the chairman of the senior staff club. So
nice one.
You see, the grandma will say, "Fufu egbe Kwame." So that's how. So yes, we had a lot of fun, and we met a lot of seniors. I mean, at Tech, at the senior staff club, you're looking when you enter the university, you meet seniors, people who are the professors and the deans and the doctors and all that, and they were drinking. So it looked as if it was fashionable to drink. I mean, so every time when we were teaching, you look at your time, oh, it's 12 o'clock. When it's 12 o'clock, you say, okay, thank you very much. And you run to the club to drink. And that's all we did, really. I painted in the mornings.
Okay.
I used in the mornings before going to the faculty. I painted. I normally make sure about that. And it became a habit. I still do it. I get up in the morning. By 5:30, I make my cup of tea, and I go to the studio. And I work until 9 or 10 before I come here. So, yeah, it became a habit. But the drinking habit hasn't broken. It's still there, I must say.
Okay. So, what we say of our exhibitions, blaxTARLINES, is that we incorporate intergenerational conversations, collective curating, as well as accessibility programming. For intergenerational conversations, what's happening now is an aspect of that. And I would like to highlight that Professor Glover's generation, which in KUST, which ended in 58, was when you're training in the 2-year
program.
Yes, ended.
57, 58, yes.
Yes. So in 1964 was when the BA Art degree program was implemented.
Yeah.
And at this time, Mr. Kofi Dawson and Prosperteria and Mr. Amegache is also here. Professor EKJ Tete joined them later, but we would like to acknowledge their presence here in the show. And Mr. Dawson, please say hello. Yes, so we have from the diploma prior to 64 and then post 1964 when the art degree started. Dr. S.K. Amenuke, who is not here now, I would like to ask you something about that, Prof. So while you took your education at Kent State, I think it ended in 72?
72, yes.
Yes, so S.K. Amenuke was also taking his MFA.
Then Cincinnati.
Huh?
Was it Cincinnati? He was at Cincinnati.
Yes. Cincinnati was the Ph.D.
Cincinnati was a Ph.D.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was wondering if your paths crossed. If
yes. Indeed, he came when he's finished there. When I was moving out, I moved 1 year. I went to the US 1 year, and then he came. Mm-hmm. So we were very much in touch. Yes.
Oh, okay.
We were very much in touch.
What was the? Do you have any anecdotes you may share, like any encounters, maybe drinking or?
Oh no.
Something like.
Amenuke wasn't drinking. Dr. Amenuke wasn't he wasn't my the type, you know. Amenuke was a nice guy, you know, a nice person. No, he wasn't drinking, but he was a good friend and a good colleague. And when he left the student ranks and joined the staff, and then the scholarship came, and he came to. We became very close. I remember we became very close. And I must say, I had a fight over him. Yes, no, it's really that when he had finished his course and he was coming back to the university, there was a plan to stop him. And because we have become friends, and I know that the man had something to give, I fought the establishment against that. So finally, I was asked, we don't want him. Do you want him? I said, yes, I want him. That's how he came to art education. No. Please, I didn't say this for clapping for me. But he knows it, and I thought sometimes you got to put your foot down. Because he was he looked talented, he has something, and I realized that having sent him abroad, having qualified, and coming back, there was no way frustrating him. So that's why I took the stand I took.
I want to ask you about Mary Kirby. Who taught you in, in Kumasi College of Technology.
Yes.
She later headed the...
Winneba. She went to Winneba.
So I want to ask about her, because she was Scottish.
She was one of the few Europeans then at Tech.
Yeah.
Kirby, who else? McKendrick.
Yeah, McKendrick.
McNair, in sculpture. Yeah.
So, what were some of the things you learned from her in textiles? For example, where Ghanaian textile
Mary Kirby was good. Mary Kirby was good. Very, very good. To me. Yes, it was very, very good to me. In fact, she was then coming to enter Tech, she was coming from the Central School in London. And by the time I finished, she encouraged me to sit for the entrance examination, even though I had no money to go there.
Yeah.
And she encouraged me. So she helped me put my papers together. That is what they call portfolio. Put my portfolio together and sent the portfolio to the UK. And then they sent her, in fact, the results. Later it was sent to her. And she came to show it to me that, hey, you got entrance to Central. But of course, it was like, oh, thank you, that's very nice. That's nice. It's like a certificate. But yes, Mary Kirby was a particular, maybe that's how I got into this thing. Because I think I was okay. I loved most of all the areas. Particularly, I was doing also well in pottery. I could have entered pottery, ceramics. I love pottery. I was doing, I hear Lamte was then the same. Indeed, in textiles, I wasn't doing too good in textile, particularly in the weaving area. But I was okay doing design work. So Mary Kirby helped me to get into the Central. And I'm grateful for that. And she surprised me one day when I was in London. You know, I don't know whether I disgraced her. We were in class in the Central School. The whole class was working. Everybody was doing his work. And then I didn't know he had come to London. I had no idea. But he came and tapped me on the shoulder in the classroom. And when I turned, I saw Mary Kirby. I don't know the feeling, that kind of feeling. I don't know what happened. But I couldn't say hi. I couldn't say anything. And I think she was disappointed. I was disappointed with myself. I didn't like it. But that was one incident that I still remember and regret it. Because I could have hugged her, but with all the eyes in London looking at me, I couldn't do it. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. Yes.
I want so on Central, which so that it's now Central St. Martin's.
It's now the University of the Arts. It became Central of St. Martin's,
in
and
89.
now they closed it.
Oh,
and it's now the University of the Arts.
Okay, so University of Arts in London.
In London,
right?
yes.
Yeah. So while you were there in the 60s, did you meet artists like Victor Passmore? Because I think William Johnston, who was the head at the time, invited these very radical, or what we would call avant-garde artists. We can talk of Victor Passmore, Alan Davey, Gordon Crook.
Gordon Crook, yes.
Yes, who taught you?
Gordon
Could you tell us about these?
Gordon Crook was doing a lot of carpet design. And he taught us design. And the good thing about the Central, what was Central, is that we were not taught by teachers. We were taught by people who were in practice. And they brought their practice to the classroom. So it's so practical. And indeed, sometimes we design things that were taken to the market. Our designs were actually taken to the market. I remember I sold 2 designs when I was in London as a student. And Gordon Crook was very much the one projecting that area. So I don't know how many designs I did that maybe he would have got in the carpet industry. But he encouraged us to design things that could be used, that could be adopted by industry and used. And he was pushing that. Gordon Crook. Gordon Crook. He was a very nice young man, very nice. He was one of the young ones. And Aaron Zweig.
Yeah, Anton. Yeah.
Anton Aaron Zweig.
I was going to ask you about him too. Yeah.
Yes. He was actually teaching dyes and dyeing. So he was usually in the dye room. And but he took a liking for me. He once invited me home to have dinner with the family, with himself and the wife. Aaron's wife was good. Who else? Yes, Crook was my number 1. Aaron's wife was my number 2. The others were all nice people.
Yeah.
I met another nice man, nice human being. There aren't a lot of them about, you know. What was it? Efland. Professor Efland. Actually, in Columbus, he became a very, very close personal friend. In fact, when I was going to present my thesis, I was late. And he made sure that he had paid my fees. You've got to pay your fees to register for the semester so that you can graduate. And I was in Ghana, and getting the money across and everything was getting quite cumbersome. Before I got there, he had paid my fees and he had registered me. That's how close we were. I don't know where he is now.
Catch us next week at the same time on blaxRADIO by blaxTARLINES, where we bring you the part 2 of the conversation between Dr. Kwasi Ohene-Ayeh, IUB, and Professor Ablade Glover. This has been the Art Talk segment, where we bring you authentic conversations from within the art world. Till our next session, stay with the work.